All right, appreciate all you guys for being here. I think the guys have done a good job since Thursday night, working hard to improve as a team. Excited about this week. Obviously, going on the road again versus another Power 5 opponent. Great chance for us to take a step as a team to improve, try to go 1-0 this week. I have a lot of respect for the team that we're playing. I had a chance to watch them on Saturday. Obviously, playing a ranked team. They'll be a ranked team this week, maybe even a top 10 team, and that's well deserved. So excited to see our guys match that environment, handle that environment, and excited for the week. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
Any updates on any of the injured guys?
Yeah, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda got hit in the side of the knee towards ACL. So heartbroken for him. Really one of the great stories on our team, and sad for him, really sad for him. So Nick and Jamari, we'll see, going through tomorrow and the day after if they're ready to play or not.
What's the plan at receiver, just losing kind of one of your starting guys? Who do you really look for this week to kind of step up in the reps?
Yeah, I think it's kind of all hands on deck. It'll be those young guys. We got Jalen in, got him on the reverse. Hoping Malachi, can help us. Obviously, we'll have Marcus now back full time. So it'll just kind of be all hands on deck. We'll use all those guys. We used Hinrich last game a little bit, so we're just going to have to kind of go with the guys that are there and trust and believe that they'll make the plays.
How do you see Jeff respond the last few days, and sort of having been around in the last 8 months, what do you think of his sort of mentality about being able to bounce back?
Yeah, when I left last night, he was in there watching tape. So, he's not the first quarterback that's ever thrown 3 interceptions. He'll the great ones bounce back from it and even better. So I think you find out about people when they go through a little bit of adversity. So obviously he had not been trending that way. Got in the game, made some plays that if he could take back he would, but he can't. So we'll just be there for him as he gets better this week.
How much weight do you put on one game to Colorado film for preparation, not just considering it's the first game of the season, but because of the overall?
Well, I think they have really good coaches. Okay, so I think you go back and look at their coordinators. Okay, you go back and look at Sean Lewis at Kent State. Sean's, I consider him a friend. He's an excellent coach. He comes out of the Art Briles, Dino Babers tree. So you're going to get the ball run from B gap to B gap. You know that they're going to attack you on the perimeter. You know they're going to take 10 deep ball shots a game. They have the guys that can go down the field and go up, and their ball skills are elite. They've got the quarterback who can make those throws. So it's really a perfect storm, perfect hire, that style of offense with that skill set of guys that they have, plus the altitude and tempo in Boulder, right? So it's really well thought out. On defense, obviously Coach Kelly, comes from the Saban tree. You're watching Florida State film. So you can't look at everything just what they did, last week, because obviously they were facing a unique offense in TCU. It's like two different worlds of what we played against last week compared to what they're doing. So, but we're studying everything, right? Obviously they have a lot of new players that we're watching. But we have new players. They're seeing our guys for the first time too. So, a lot of work's been done in the summer. A lot of work's being done right now.
The challenge of that tempo with their skill talent. Obviously, tackling is always important, but how you maybe prepare to tackle those guys in space.
Yeah, we've been practicing versus tempo all training camp because it's a good way to practice, right? On defense, it's a good way to prepare. It's a good way to get in shape. The things that we teach, tracking the near hip, all the different fundamentals that we believe in, they show up in these games, right? What has a tendency to happen when it goes that fast, guys start to get sloppy. And this, for our guys, they're going to have to make this football. This has to be football. This can't be about tempo. This can't be about altitude. This can't be about playing a ranked opponent or being on the road. It just has to be football. And if we do that, that's what we've done all training camp. We'll have a chance. There's obviously a lot of questions about how would the 3-3-5 stack up to big people. I thought, we handled the run game in the last game pretty well. This is, as you said, a whole unique challenge, right? Maybe more designed for the 3-3-5, So we'll just have to play well, though. It's going to be football. We have to play good football.
What were you able to do with the extra 2 days that you don't normally have after a game this weekend to help get them to move on and get ready? And what did you see from the guys' mentality when you were around them?
Yeah, I don't think there's any moving on. I mean, like, there's not like, at the end of the day, we're going to play each week. There's a great Kobe quote. We're going to come back and do the journey all over again, whether we win or lose. And, we go through the opponent. We go through the last game. So Friday we came in. We got back late. We came in Friday afternoon. We went through the opponents. We went through the game, This is what we did well. This is what we didn't do well. Everything's very methodical and unemotional, because there was a lot of good. It wasn't like one of those, like, hey, we were down by 2 scores and we scored at the end to make it a 1-score game. Like, we had the lead. Unfortunately, we made some catastrophic errors down the stretch, right? And so we learned from those. We eliminated those mistakes. We have a chance to win that game. So that was Friday. Saturday, we gave the guys off. Now I was in here Saturday morning working, and we had a ton of guys in here taking care of their bodies, recovering. It's been a long camp. And then brought them in yesterday, and we started on Colorado. It's a little unique for us as coach. Like, I went home and watched the game on TV because I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, not like you can watch it on tape. There was no. This is the first game, so having a chance to watch the game was good. See the flow of the game, see them in action. And now, yesterday we came in here and worked with the guys last night. Today's their off day, and we'll get back to work tomorrow morning.
Were you as surprised as the rest of the nation was watching what Colorado did?
No. Coach Sanders is a football guy, and so while you can watch all these peripheral things, like while you can see, like, they show their practices, you can watch all the stuff on TV. At the end of the day, like, when has he ever not been serious about football? He's been a head coach now. He's won both places. So they've got elite players, elite skill players, and elite players up and down the front. They've got anytime you have a great quarterback, you're going to have a chance to win. So I wasn't surprised at all.
What do we mean football guy? What goes into that?
He's won in everything he's done in football. He's won as a player. He's won as a coach. So I think everyone maybe thinks, like, outside, not me. Everyone else thinks, like, well, this is all a show, and that he's the most serious person about football. Like, his poster was on people's walls for a reason as a player, because he's one of the hardest practicing, hardest playing people that's ever played the game, right? So why would we think that his team wouldn't be the same? CJ White's on our staff, was a strength coach for him. He told us, like, early on, like, let me tell you how they're going to practice. Let me tell you what they're going to do. So the utmost respect for Coach Sanders. Like, when he was the head coach of Trinity Christian, I recruited Quaylen Jones out of there. He's a football guy. Like, like all the other stuff, the commercials and all those things, those are extra things you get to do when you're elite at football. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I think everything he's ever done in football, he's been successful at, and so he's being successful here already.
How do you deal with a guy like Travis Hunter, and when you know he's going to play both sides, and his skill set, and what do you think about him playing 130 snaps in week 1?
Well, he's one of the most conditioned athletes I've ever seen. So God bless him. His long speed is unbelievable. His ability to accelerate at 30 yards is something that's hard to simulate in practice. But I think the biggest thing about Travis is he's just his ball skills. He goes up, and even the one where his foot landed out of bounds, his ball skills. So that's really going to be the theme of the week. Again, with this offense, they're going to throw the ball down the field 10 times a game minimum. You have to play the ball. You know what I'm saying? And he can go up and get the ball. You saw him do it on offense. You saw him do it on defense. He took the ball out of the young man's hands on the flat route in the end zone. It wasn't like he got the ball first. He took it out of his hands. But if you watch them practice all summer on the stuff that they put out, he's got those kind of ball skills. So he's a competitor.
You got an added challenge with Ty out for the first half, but how did you feel about just the other guys who stepped in when you kind of went back and watched the tape and you rotated up front?
Yeah, they played well, but Ty was at a different level when he was playing. He got to the quarterback 4 or 5 times. Obviously, unfortunately, we won't have him for the first half. I told him, you're playing every play of the second half when you get back there, so you better rest up. So, but yeah, Ty's level of football, I thought, in the first half, while he was playing was really impressive. But we played a lot of guys. We were able to get some guys in, some guys for 2 or 3, 4, 5 plays, some guys for more. But we'll need all that versus this tempo. We'll need all that versus this opponent.
How pleased were you with the physicality and the tackling you guys played with both on defense and special teams?
Yeah, again, I'm a kind of an incrementalist. I'm kind of a process guy. So I can say 2 things and mean them. Like, crushed that we lost the game the way we did for the guys, right? Not for me, for the guys. Upset for them. At the same time, recognizing how much better the football is than early last year. And so I'm proud of that for them. Like, hey, look what practice has gotten you to. Now we have to make, To turn the ball over 4 times and have 2 false starts inside the 5 and versus a Big Ten opponent and have the lead is outrageous, So we have to clean all that up. But also, I recognize the things that are better. So my mind is just very simply the way I think you build a program that's built to last. That's not just a flash in the pan. Is you just keep improving the things that aren't good, that aren't improved. So, early in the game, I walked out on the field and I was like, hey guys, they're 4 or 5 right now on third down. It's just about third down. It's not like, are we good? Are we bad? It's just third down, right? And so we got better at third down as the game went on. I thought Tony adjusted. So, I'd like to see us make those steps in our passing game this week. I'd like to see us make those steps, obviously, in protecting the football this week and taking the ball away. So, but I thought we were really physical. I thought we ran the ball hard. And I thought you couldn't, we played 4 or 5, 6 linebackers. We rotated guys in, and there was no he's in, call it differently, right? Javen goes in. Javen's really playing well. Mekhi Bear was unbelievable on special teams. And he gets in on defense, and you see him play well, right? And then you're playing MJ, you're playing Chief. So if we can do that as we get into the stretch of Big Ten play, we'll have a bunch of guys that can play and help us that all play to the same standard. This week, we'll just have to be able to do it versus excellent skill, as Sam asked, and then versus tempo.
With Hinrich, what is he showing you as a pass catcher, and what's he able to contribute in that area?
Yeah, Hinrich's he's about 230 pounds. He runs 4.5. He's competitive. So we had some more things in for him. I think, one of the, again, I never want to sound like excuses, but, one of the things that kind of, we had 3 drives in the first half. The first one, kind of came in with hey, we're going to start this way. The ball starts at the 1-yard line. Just kind of never got that rhythm going until that, really the third drive, you saw us get into a rhythm, right? You saw us, start to kind of get in and out of things. Sat, was kind of calling some tempo plays. Unfortunately, we false started, didn't get the ball in the end zone. But Hinrich can help us in a lot of different ways. So, he's the backup quarterback, but he's also a guy that's going to help us, play some other positions. He can catch it. He knows every position because he is the quarterback. So hopefully he can help us a lot as we move forward.
What did you see in Javen? He had previously played nickel. You guys have kind of moved to the inside. What do you like about his game? What did you see in him that gave you so much trust that he could play that many times?
He's practiced really well, because he didn't do anything in the spring. His father was here, obviously former Husker legend was here the one day and was talking about he was kind of laughing, he thinks he's a corner coach, move him inside, and Javen bought into it. We said right before the spring, hey, Javen, we're going to play you, because he was able to do some things at the end of spring. Javen, we're going to move you in and have you play backer, and he was all for it, which was a great step. So, I can tell you every NFL scout that comes here, they all kind of sit there and say, okay, coach, tell me who 33 is, because he's big, fast, rangy, explosive. But he's had to learn how to play, right? He's had to learn how to play the game, how to learn how to play the different things that that you see at that position. So, but to have a guy with that speed playing linebacker is awesome. But he's got a tenacity and a physicality that I like. He's got a great personality, and he was another guy that was excellent on special teams.
Matt, you guys got the big noon game on Fox this week, and so probably the big storyline is going to be about the compare and contrast of how you're going about trying to build this thing and how Sanders is trying to build this thing out in Colorado. You call yourself an incrementalist guy, and you've spoken about kind of what your methodology is for building a program, but I guess what's kind of your compare contrast if you were to look at both programs and how they're going about it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this to you. I respectfully am not going to, I can't talk about anybody else. For me, if guys in the portal that we have a relationship with, we have respect for, or we know, or something, they fit us, obviously we'll take some of those guys. We're going to try to recruit high schools as much as possible, specifically local guys. It's always taken me a couple of years to get the program up and running, and usually I feel like when it's done, we got to Temple, we lost the championship game, we won it the next year. They won for a couple of years after that with the new coach. I went to Baylor. We lost the championship game in year 3. COVID here. Year 4, those same kids, won the Big 12, went to the Sugar Bowl. So I only know how to kind of do it one way. The rules are a little different now, but I respect anybody that's just trying to figure out how to win. So there's different ways of doing it. So, however Coach Sanders is doing it, however Luke Fickell's doing it, however everybody's doing it, it's not really for me to say. For me, it's just, hey, this is how we're doing it, and this recruiting class that we have right now, to us, is, like as I said last week, is a really big one for us as we move forward. But obviously, they're going to be a ranked team, so what they're doing is working.
It was first week of the new clock timing rules. Do you think that impacted maybe the tempo of the game or the number of total plays you could run?
Yeah, kind of. I was starting to say that, and I kind of I forgot to say it, but like that first drive, and then that just, only having 3 drives in the first half, you could kind of feel a little bit of that. That won't really be a factor this week because I think they're going to snap the ball at, within 8-10 seconds of what we do. I used to go at Baylor. I used to go against Cliff Kingsbury and those guys, so have some experience with guys who like to go this fast. It's a great way to play football. So the clock rules last week, you could definitely feel them, right? Just how short the first half was, and it took us a little time, unfortunately, to get in rhythm.
What do you, how's Tommy Hill practice? Is he split time between offense and defense?
Yeah. Like last week, he was on defense, right? Because he was coming off that injury, so he was on defense and had a couple plays on offense. We really knew that shot that we took to him, we knew that he would get open in that formation. We knew he would run by the guy. We just knew it was going to be there, and it was. We just weren't able to quite connect on it. So that was just kind of a one-off thing. Okay. He had another play that we had for him that we were going to have up that we didn't hit. But I think as we move forward, seeing the kind of shape that Tommy's in and the mental, he's a really smart football player, and his mental toughness I really like where he's at. So he's already last night he's asking me like what he can do on offense. So. It'll remain to be seen as they game plan today, but maybe he'll have some other roles on offense. I also like when you go back and watch him play offense last year, he's one of the best blockers. He came in and he was, blocking the heck out of people. Like, you have to be careful now what you're allowed to do, but, he's kind of blocking the way the old Husker wide receivers block. So I'd love to utilize him in the blocking game as well.
How do you get Billy Kemp and Thomas Fidone more involved this week? Obviously, both guys didn't have a catch. And I'm sure you would like to see those guys more involved in the offense.
Yeah, I was disappointed, especially for Billy, right? I think of the 60 plays we called, 9, he was the first guy in the progression. But some of them, either they took that away or there was pressure or something like that. So, you called a play for Thomas down in the goal line. Thought it was going to be a touchdown. It just, kind of got banged by the guy and wasn't open. So, really, Billy, we have to get going. We have to find a way to get him involved because he's too good of a player, too competitive of a guy. Thomas as well. Again, talk about things we want to improve upon. Just I think the overall passing game this week, for us to have a chance versus a team that can score like this, we're going to have to make some more plays. So, we got through the first week. We identified, hey, we need to improve this. Hopefully we can make some strides.
After watching the game back, how did the offensive line grade out for you, and how important will that unit be, given the tempo that Colorado plays with, in order to try to sustain threats?
Yeah, I thought the offensive line played well. Obviously we had the back-to-back sacks on the one drive that were less about getting beaten, more about a miscommunication, unfortunately, just 2 guys working together. I thought had we not fumbled the ball at 5 minutes, we would have been able to really kind of I felt like we were starting to really wear down the opponent. I think with the greatest respect for them, I thought we were going to be able to run the ball out and finish with about 250 yards rushing. When you only have 3 drives in the first half and when you have 4 turnovers, it's really hard to wear down your opponent, So all that being said, it was a good first game. We know where we are. We know what we have to improve upon. Colorado has really good skill up front. Their edge rushers are really twitchy, explosive guys. We tried to slow that down a little bit last week with some quarterback draws. Even when they only get 2 or 3 yards, it does slow down the pass rush. And so we'll have to do a lot of different things versus Colorado because they are so talented up front. Someone else had something. So.
Is that ability to control the tempo, to get first downs, hold the ball, more important against an opponent like this that has such a contrasting style to what you do tempo-wise in comparison to Minnesota, where it's pretty similar?
Well, I want to make sure I understand your question. You're saying just holding the ball. Yeah. I mean, when we played Minnesota, we knew that they were averaging like a 34 to 35 minute time of possession, specifically against the Huskers over the last couple of years. So to have it close to even was a step in the right direction. With 4 turnovers, say we have 2 turnovers, we probably have it for 33, 34 minutes. So again, we're heading in the right direction. Not good enough, but heading in the right direction. What I found versus a team like this is, again, just make it football. I don't even think, the tempo's there. I don't even think about it. If they're going really fast and we can force 3 and outs, then it starts to weigh on their defense. If they're going really fast and they're going 1 first down, 2 first down, 3, I have such a unique perspective because I was at Baylor after Coach Briles, and I would hear the guys talk that had been in that offense. They'd say, "Hey, get 2 first downs and it's a touchdown." They just want to get on the field against you and wear you down. So for our guys, we're just going to try to make it football. Again, try to win when we can on the deep balls that they're going to throw. Try to stop the run because they will run the football. Tackle well. I think for us on offense, it's just about, converting third downs. It'll always come back to me to third down. Like, for early in the first half, we weren't doing a great job of that. As we started to convert third downs, all of a sudden we put some points on the board, some things happened. So we'll try to make it football as best we can.
How do you get your team to block out whatever's going to happen in that stadium for the first time of his game? What do you guys work on and talk about as it relates to force out and push out whatever they're going to have? Because it's probably going to be some sort of celebration.
Yeah, again, I say it because this is exactly what I'm saying to the team. I'm saying, like, make it football, right? Like, all that's what it is, right? But it's still going to come down to blocking and tackling. And, I think they went down to TCU last week, and while everyone thought it was, going to be all this stuff, they played football. They went out there, they caught the ball, they played good football, and they won the game. So, like, we're just going to try to make it football. Like, we're lucky we had, unfortunately, the loss last week, but we had it was game one of the season, and the other team did a goal out. Like, how often does it happen on the first game of the year, right? So, like, we recognize every game we play in, every game the Nebraska Cornhuskers in is going to be a big game. And so for a team to do that in the first game of the year, it was really, really loud. I thought, Minnesota had a great student section. Obviously, a lot of our mistakes happened down in their student section, which was unfortunate for us. We have to learn from that. But last week happened maybe to prepare us for this week, or maybe prepare us for the future. But we'll be a significantly better team after these first 2 weeks of being on the road in these two environments when we come back home and then when we go on the road late in the year. But in terms of preparing them for it, it's football. Like, if we can't lock in and just play football, then, nothing I say will matter. It's the pregame pageantry, all that stuff. That'll all be over. It'll be football once the game kicks off.
Matt, as
you know the history between these two schools, obviously, and being a history guy, college football lover, you've seen it over the years. Does it feel different this week? Have people come up to you maybe even before the season about the Colorado game circling on account? Is this a different deal?
Yeah, certainly before the year. No one really know. I'm here all the time, so and I there's nothing but cows by where I live. So or not, So I don't think no one really sees me very often right now, just in season. But obviously, I respect that tradition, right, and that history and that legacy. As I was going through the job and looking at the job, and Trev and I were talking. My wife and son and I would sit down and watch on YouTube and watch all the different games, over the years, Coach Osborne, Coach McCartney, Coach Solich, Coach Barnett, all the different games that happened. And so we understand the legacy. So, when you have a legacy behind you, you have to live up to it and you have to build on it for the future. We also recognize, like, once the ball's kicked, we're going to have to play, and we have to play for 60 minutes.
Anything else, Coach? What did you think their quarterbacks play? I mean, obviously he had a great game. But what did you think of just watching him?
Shador?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was in complete control. I think there's a lot of freedom probably in that system where he, if a guy's uncovered, he's just going to raise him and throw it out to him. I thought his deep ball accuracy was excellent. I thought his pocket movement was excellent. I thought he played like a guy who's played a lot of football and trusts his receivers. And, you look at it, to have 4 receivers over 100 yards receiving means he doesn't just trust just one player, right? I mean, I think when you look at the game, a lot of game breakers, but the tailback, Edwards really broke the game open with some explosive plays, and so, but he was in command, he was in control, and so we'll have to. Again, it's not like you're just taking away one thing, right? There's 4 receivers had over 100 yards rushing. You have a quarterback who threw for 500 yards. They're going to run the ball. There's a tempo. There's a lot of things, but we're still going to show up. Our defense is going to be there. We'll play and see what we can do.